I'm Zoe Reisman, and I'm excited to embark on a journey with you today. A journey into sustainability, unexpected discoveries, and the transformative power of unconventional thinking. But first, let's rewind a bit. Picture a younger version of me, knee-deep in the backyard dirt, on a journey to find some snails. Though at first unsuccessful, suddenly I struck gold. I filled my bucket with as many shellless snails as I could. Excited with my new discovery, I ran inside, bucket in hand, to show my mom. But before I could even utter a word, she said, "Oh, you got some slugs." My first ever science expedition, snail hunting, was a catastrophic failure. But I had fun learning about slugs instead. Now, I'd like to share, fast forwarding today, another false start that led me to explore an unconventional solution to agricultural sustainability. So, I started looking for ideas for a project, and the concept of cross-linking was really interesting to me. However, cross-linking isn't something you'll find in your agricultural manual. It's something I discovered in a paper about software bugs and its application in medicine. What is cross-linking? You're probably wondering. Cross-linking is the chemical bonding of polymer chains to create a robust 3D network structure. Now, in this paper, it was talking about the controlled release of medicine. And I thought that was so interesting. I wanted to explore that further. So I thought, it's perfect for my project. My dad, on the other hand, who has an unfortunate practical streak, told me that human medical experimentation would likely be frowned upon. So I knew that I had to go into a different direction. While I was thinking about a different direction, I was also on the debate team. And it had me thinking about water and sustainability because we were talking about water protection at that time. I learned here that fertilizers, or traditional fertilizers, aren't fully absorbed by plants, and the excess of that runs off into our waterways. This is especially impactful because we live in Florida. I have a picture of Lake Okeechobee behind me, and it's not just there randomly. Agricultural runoff from nutrients from fertilizers creates massive algae blooms. These algae blooms cause oxygen depletion that has catastrophic effects on aquatic life and the ecosystem as a whole. So, especially in Lake Okeechobee, where you can see these algae blooms from outer space. Okay, technically I'm being a little dramatic, it's satellite imaging, but you get my drift. This brought me to think about the paper I read again, cross-linking in a medical context. But could it also work in an agricultural context? So, I started thinking, what if instead of the controlled release of medicine, we did the controlled release of nutrients in fertilizer beads? Thus, the idea was formed. Think of fertilizer beads in a similar way that you think of how long-lasting cold medicine is advertised. They say that you take the pill, and then throughout the day, the medicine will release, and it will help you alleviate your symptoms all day long. The ferric nitrate beads can work in a similar way. The ferric nitrate was, with the risk of getting overly technical, encapsulated in sodium alginate. After manufacturing these beads, as you can see here, I tested them with a UV spectrometer. I used the UV spectrometer to measure the rate of the release of the ferric nitrate from the sodium alginate bead over time, with and without access to external radiation. Without external UV radiation, the ferric nitrate released with a statistically insignificant zero slope. However, the magic happens when it's released with external UV radiation. The ferric nitrate was released from the bead with a positive, statistically significant slope, linearly. In layman's terms, this means that the ferric nitrate, or the actual fertilizer that helps nourish our crops, was released from the bead only when exposed to external UV radiation, like the sun. So, this pivotal and novel technique can pave the way for adaptive controlled release of fertilizer from the beads, resistant to overwatering factors, but dependent on our natural source of energy, our lovely sun. So, after figuring this out, I thought about how this is unconventional. This is a concept taken from the medical field in a paper about soft robotics, but it's applied to the agricultural field. So, how does this work? Because of the agricultural runoff, these sodium alginate beads with ferric nitrate would prevent them from being exposed to water, because water doesn't cause it to collapse. But this showed me that unconventional ideas don't always emanate from seasoned experts. Instead, they can emanate from the fresh perspectives of young minds. What does this tell us about the future? Sustainable agriculture is difficult because in the agricultural industry, traditions typically run deep. So it's important to be able to challenge these traditions, which is something that's the perfect task for our youth. If we are able to challenge these traditions and challenge the status quo, we can reinvent industries beyond just the agricultural industry. This is the key to sustainability. If a young person who mistakes slugs for snails knee-deep in dirt can figure out and stumble into science, then maybe, with the right approach, other young people can too. This is more than just agricultural runoff. This is a cry to industries worldwide to imagine a possibility of a world where they break free from traditions. This is a resounding cry for an industry globally to reinvent, reimagine, and re-envision a world. A world in which even the smallest ideas and the tiniest beads can create a lasting impact. So this expands beyond agriculture. This expands beyond science. This is a mindset that every youth, every person is capable of doing big things. So, my thank you's a little early, but if every young person has the capacity to do something big, then what's stopping some from continuing to reimagine, reinvent, and redefine the world we live in now? Thank you.